You are now listening to an episode of Hidden Voices, so sit back, relax, and enjoy our community podcast. Welcome to the final episode of Hidden Voices, Season 2. We're concluding this season with a recap of last year, 2020, which was an eventful year for everyone, as we were in a pandemic, a global pandemic, which caused a lot of setbacks in not only different industries, but in general, life, which was the theme of our podcast for this season. I'm joined here today with my co host, Farah. Say hello, Farah.
Hi, Samir. Hi, everyone.
And we have Marianna and Ridwan as well. Say hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi guys. Hi.
We're going to kick off with the conversation about 2020, just with a simple question, but quite a broad one, I guess, because you can go into many different avenues with this. So, how was your 2020?
Yeah, eventful. Or uneventful, depends on which way you look at it, I think. It's been intense in many different ways. But I guess I feel very grateful that I have been able to carry on working and looking after myself, helping my family. I did catch COVID in a mild form, and that was not fun. But for the most part, I've been blessed in many different ways. But yeah, it's very surreal. It feels very strange not to have seen mostly anyone for a year, and I think it's been a year of massive reflection, at least for myself, and in a way, loads of different things that created problems before in my life, traumas from past times and things like that. This was an opportunity, or so I chose to see it as an opportunity to actually delve into my inner self more and come out stronger to get ready to get back to a normal face-to-face environment, which I hope is going to be soon.
Definitely. I hope we could be in a face to face environment soon as well. We're recording this a few days after the anniversary, actually, from the first lockdown, and I still remember it as it was yesterday. I think the last time we were properly at the office, we were actually doing a Saturday session with the collective, and there was all these rumors going around about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Little did we know that that Saturday would be the last one of the year. Yeah,
Mm.
and we've
Do you
yeah.
guys remember as well how like we were trying to keep distance, or like wash your hands and like stay away, no hugs or no handshake, just elbow shake, or like
Yeah,
we were joking about it at the beginning, but we didn't think it was gonna be that serious. Do you remember even like Samir, even when we went to Poland for, was it Poland? No, Czech
no,
Republic, isn't it?
Czech Republic.
Czech
Yes, a lot of
Republic, yeah.
people were just wearing masks on our
Yeah,
connection flight from Austria, and
exactly.
so we were a little bit concerned because even though we've seen people wear masks at the airport, we weren't seeing in that much volume before. So this was definitely like a sign
Yeah,
that
yeah.
something was going to come. But
Little
we
did we
were,
know.
yeah, we were a little too naive back then.
It's true. Nah, and say similar to Marianne as well. Like last year, it's a unique year because not only like unfortunately, it was a challenging year for everyone, and lots of people got COVID. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, very luckily, I didn't get COVID-19. But early in the year, I did become really sick, and it was due to previous medical condition. So I was out for about maybe at least 8 weeks and a half, if not more. So going through that was not easy, and that was a challenge itself. But with all the negativity that came with it last year, but there was also some positive highlights as well that I think we're going to be discussing later on. But for me, I would say on a personal and professional level, maybe even spiritual as well, is it's probably the most testing year I've ever had in a very long time as well. So for me, yeah, reflecting back, it was probably one of the most difficult years I've experienced in a very long time. But at the same time, it was a very an eye-opening year as well. There was a lot of positivity as well as negativity that came with it, and a lot of hardship and challenge as well. And I think we're all in a similar boats in a sense as well.
Yeah, definitely for me as well. It was quite at times, an emotionally draining year, as well as detriment to my physical health as well. I'm already not that physically healthy to begin with, so being in a lockdown and not being able to really be active in it and go into the gym and stuff like that really had an impact on me. And the times when we were out of lockdown and the gyms were reopening were a time that I got motivated, only for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then there would be another lockdown in place. So it was very fluctuating in terms of my physical health. And then in terms of mental health, just being able to adapt to this situation, not only for myself, but other people as well, was a challenge. What about you, Ridwan? What were some of the challenges you faced?
I think for me, it was the fact that I was furloughed for a period of time. So from the beginning of March, no, like mid-March when I started the announcement. And I was happy for a little while because I was like, finally, a bit of a break. But adding up all the stress of like not knowing what's going to happen next, it just made me think like I need to just try whatever. So I remember I actually bought a little mini laptop and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and apply to as many jobs as possible because like I was working back then, I was working in the hospital industry, had a feeling it was not gonna last for a period of time. So now reflecting back on the year itself, overall, I see that I have like a lot of strength in me in those uncertain times. So yeah, it's been, I think it's been a good and a bad year for me, I would say. Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you learn about yourself in situations like these, you know. Even though we live in a world that's filled with technology, using the most out of that technology, taking things virtually. And that was, yeah, another big challenge, not only for me, but in general, I think you press as well, because we do a lot of face-to-face work with our clients, with our participants as well.
It's true. It's true.
So,
I agree with you, Samir, as well. Like, and just to jump in as well, and I think,
mhm.
and I think probably everyone can relate to this as well, and also in line with UPress as well. With UPress, it's very people centric. So everything that we do is for the community and the young people that we work with. So in a way, we build really strong connections and yeah, really powerful connections that helps our community and young people to move forward. But also for us as well, we learn a lot from the experience and the time that we work with them. And I think for like, and I remember even talking to Mariana, like, how important family is, and like, not being able to see your loved ones and not being able to see your friends as well. It just has a psychological, and you don't realize the little things, like I didn't realize like the little break, the little banter, the journey to, the office, seeing your family and your friends. All those things play such a crucial part in your well-being and your mindset and who you are as a person. You take that away and you isolate someone and just tell them to work from home and use technology as a form of communication. It's really, I never thought we'd be in that kind of position. And you guys remember I used to toy about the idea of like, oh, would it be cool if we were digital nomads? We just work from anywhere and travel. That
You called it. You called it.
Yeah.
You called it up on us. So it's like, Farah, I'm gonna have to tell you what my dreams are, because if you say them out loud, they come true. So maybe it's you.
Farah's the oracle. Yeah.
It's true. Putting it out there, but you know what? Who would have thought like that would be that would be the reality? But it just makes you realize like how important people are and those human connections as well. Like, if anything, I would say like, we talked a little bit about the negativity, but I think one of the positive things that came out of it is like for our team, for especially, we become really, really close and much more focused on what we want to do. And I think it's helped us as well personally. I remember even, on occasions I spoke to Mariana, and like we were just talking about how strong we've become as a result of the challenges that we faced last year. Like, sometimes, as for us, as community workers and community leaders and people that really really want to make a difference, a lot of the time we sacrifice what's how much we can give, and we don't realize, like, sometimes you need to take a step back and assess what you can and can't offer, and also just having the ability to really like make really important decisions that help you to move forward and make those important decisions as well. And I remember talking to Mariana on numerous occasions, and even just some of the team members as well, and like we say, yeah, it's been difficult, but at the same time there's a lot of things that we're learning that we can apply. Mariana, like, how was it for you? Like, not being able to go see your dad and spend time with your family, and kind of like, because I know it hit you quite hard, and I'd be interested to know like how you coped with that.
Well, when you're an immigrant and you've been far away from home for 13 years, not physically being able to see the people you love it becomes routine. It becomes part of normal living, but it becomes different when you are told that the right you have to go and see them whenever you choose to gets taken away from you. And it's quite it's quite a psychological effect, I guess, because someone's telling you that the freedom that you think you don't have anymore. And so it hits you harder, because the thought of living away from home and not seeing people in normal circumstances doesn't face you as much as being told that you actually are not allowed to travel to go and see them. So it was a bit of a mind trip, but I guess for me it was worrying, because my dad has undergone a surgery during the pandemic, and it's been a year on the 9th of March that he spent in the hospital, between the hospital and rehab. So it was intense, and I was allowed to go and spend time with him in September, but in the hospital. And I remember spending my birthday outside the surgery store. It wasn't great, I can tell you that. But to show you the different side of the coin, my dad has been incredible. I mean, he's been through a very tough time. He unfortunately lost one of his legs, as you know, and the strength and the stamina and the wisdom and the joy in the fact that he's still alive and is learning how to walk with a prosthetic leg has been my strength, and it's a paradox if you think about it, right? Someone has lost something so important to them and their functionality in the middle of a pandemic, locked up in a hospital, couldn't receive any visitors for however long, and it was him telling me that everything was going to be all right. So I have had, I had to look at myself and think, you have no reason to actually feel sorry for yourself, because you have a roof, you have a job, you have food in your belly, you have heating, you have a dad who's still here, you have friends in London, you have friends back home who you are able to speak through digitally, and you are able to see virtually, and who are waiting for you to return. So for me, as I said, I think in a way I was obviously distraught and sad and upset that so many people have passed away, and that the world has lost the much the much cherished freedom that we all have, at birth, or we should have at birth, I should say. And then but at the same time, I had to really and truly focus. One thing that really helped me was stop watching the news. I suddenly stopped, because my country got hit quite badly by coronavirus right off. And obviously I was worried about my loved ones and my friends, and And so I kept watching the Italian news consistently. I had BBC News and the Italian channels on the computer 24/7. And it was affecting my health, my mental health. I was terrified. So I was very quick into making decisions and say, do you know what? This is not going to work. We don't know how long we're going to have to stay in this lockdown, Zaps. You need to sort it out. So I've started doing my, I started looking after myself a bit better mentally, because it was important for my dad. I had to be strong, not only for me, but for him, because I didn't want him to be worried about me. But overall, I was grateful that we were able to carry on with the collective, because that was such an important part of my week, planning the lessons and talking to the young people, and looking forward to seeing what they were learning from us, and all of them have embraced it, and they're doing really well, and they've blossomed. And I think it helps the fact that they are so technological. It's a technological generation, so here is us worrying about all of them and them TikToking all day. So they've truly embraced it. And to see some of them also taking the streets in such a dangerous time to actually fight for people's rights, although it might not necessarily have been the wisest thing to do, or whichever way people want to look at it. I was just glad to see the young people started to have an interest in politics again, somehow, even if it was just marching on the street and then going to get some McDonald's because they were hungry, on the way. But at least they were trying to be part of something that was much bigger than themselves. Because I find that social media and this, for as much as the technology has advanced and has built bridges, it's also broken down some communication. So it was nice to see them come together in the flesh for something that they believed was going to make a change.
Amazing, Marianna, as well. Just to hear like how you found inspiration, strength as well, even from your dad's journey as well, gone through, which I can imagine is not an easy process to lose your leg and start from fresh, in a balanced life as well.
Yeah, start from scratch. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you mentioned it as well, like he was really strong and he's very focused on his recovery, which kind of gave you the permission to say, hey, you know what, I have no right to complain. I've got the basic needs of my life set. So what am I, finding that strength and also that kind of inspiration to not give up. It's really interesting as well. I'd be really interested to hear, like, when things were getting tough last year, what helped you guys as well, like to get through. For me, I would say my family. Like if it wasn't for my family, I probably wouldn't have gotten through. Let alone, I said to you guys, I was sick for about 8 weeks and a half, if not more. So, my family coming through and looking after me and making sure that I was okay, that helped a lot. And then just being able to, and also my friends as well, just being able to reach out to my friends when things were difficult and just ask for advice and help. That kept me sane, especially working from home, which is, not the most luxurious when you're sick and also in a lockdown. But yeah, how about you, Ridwan? What kept you motivated and moving forward last year? What were your source of inspirations?
I think, taking from what Marianne said about not listening to news, when you said that, I was thinking to myself that definitely does help, because I remember I was constantly watching the news until like we hit 900 cases or something like that, when I realized how much it was actually affecting me, my mind. So straight away, I kind of like turned myself off from it. I started to run. I started to spend a lot of the time outdoor. I started to spend a lot of the time in my balcony. I call it the hidden balcony because, like, I sometimes put a little bit something over it so no one doesn't see me, and I just enjoy the sun. Baking helped a lot, and just the same thing with Marianne, when you want to be doing your best in a way that you don't want to worry someone else. So my mom was not around and I did not want to worry her. So I knew that I had to pull myself together and I just have to like take each day as it goes by and make the most of it. And I got to admit, working with like you press, because back then, like in the beginning, it was like sort of volunteering with you guys. That helped out a lot because that kept my mind on something else. And then once I started working with you guys even more, it just made things even more amazing. And yeah, I would say a mix of everything.
Love that. I love that. And you got like a little secret garden as well,
I
or
do,
secret
I
balcony.
do. I really got into it, Farah. I got like the rogue and like some stuff around it. I got like a little table. And this year I'm just waiting for the sun to come out more and then just spend more time outdoor because that just being outside in the sun literally changes your mood altogether. I'm a very sunny person.
I could just see you sitting there with your favorite book and just like enjoying it and enjoying the sun.
Oh, it was fun time.
How about you, Samir? Like what kept you motivated and going last year, especially for the difficult moments?
I think communication for me was key last year and this year, obviously with my family. At the start of last year, there was a bit of a rough patch involving my sister, and it wasn't until I really stepped in and raised my voice that I was able to bring the family back together. Otherwise, it was just a couple of weeks of my mum just at a time being really upset. She obviously has a lot of health conditions, so it wasn't good for her health. The situation that we were in, so I had to step up and have the courage to actually contact my sister afterwards and tell her to talk to mum and see how she's doing. Well, other than that, I think the main thing, because Mariana talked about her father, I think for me was also just communicating with my dad, because for a long time, I'd say like about 10 years, like I think we had like a typical relation. Me and my dad had a typical relationship, like the tough love relationship. And it wasn't until he lost his job that I really started to connect with him at home. When he started just sitting down in the house and, you know, from time to time checking in on what I was doing with work and stuff like that. And me also helping him with different forms and applications that I really got to know about him. So yeah, communication really brought me closer to my family.
It's beautiful to hear that as well. And I think, sometimes we don't really get to see what challenges our parents go through. Especially, all of us know this as well. Like, our parents made a lot of sacrifices to be where we are. And, they still work hard, even though we're adults now, they still want us to be well. They still want us to have food in our bellies, a shelter over our shoulder. And I think that's beautiful as well, Samir, what you just said as well. Is I think what what you did there is you understood where your dad was coming from. Now he's
Yeah.
home, and also to have that conversation with
Yeah.
him as well. And I think maybe did that help you to understand like why he was a little bit hard, like he has that kind of tough
Yeah,
love, hard
definitely. Because
relationship with you?
there were times when I was showing that tough love towards him as well. Because whenever he was
Mm,
applying for jobs, as you know, the job market
mhm,
is vastly different from when he first started out here in England back in the
mm,
1980s. So he knew that I was a lot more computer literate than him, and so I had to be
mhm,
very at times I had to be very patient in terms of explaining to him certain things, like if you don't have the, for instance, if you don't have the qualification, why are you applying for this specific job if it
mhm,
specifies you need this qualification? Yeah,
mhm,
so there was a lot of different tips and tricks that I had to teach him, and I'm still teaching him, and he's also
mhm,
given me some insight from his past as well. So it's like for the first time in a long time that I saw him really almost like soften up. I haven't seen him like that
mm.
since I was a young kid. So it was refreshing to see.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You see what I was saying about going inside, because we've been accustomed to working very fast in in everything that we
Yeah,
do. We wake up in the morning and it's fast, and we need to, get in the shower, get a breakfast. If you can get breakfast, if not, you get a coffee on the go whilst you're walking to the way to the station, and get on the train, and then change subway, and then get to the office, and then say hello to everyone, do everything that you need to do, then do the same thing in reverse and come home, and then go to the gym or do the things that we do, the courses, the work we do with you press. And I'm sure that your dad as well has never really had a time to slow down you
no,
know
not really. He was for a long time. He was the only person who was working in our house, and he'd make sure,
exactly.
even though that, even though that we grew up poor in a low income household, he would never make us feel like we were from poor family. He'd
Same.
put in that hard
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Just
Same as well.
the highest level of love comes from the places where the simplest things are appreciated.
Definitely, yeah,
I grew up like you guys in a low income household. You know the story, and you know what my dad has gone through, and all of that. So for me, and my dad always says, "Oh, I wish I could have given you more." But I've always said to him that I've always felt like so rich. I felt like I grew up feeling like I was really wealthy
yeah,
inside, and I've never felt like lesser than any other kid. And because one thing that I saw was their dignity. My parents' dignity was incredible. Like, we would go outside the house and even just go shopping for food on a Saturday, and the respect in which people would treat my mom and dad, and the high, the high regard that people had for mom and dad, no matter what, nobody knew that we had any problems.
yeah,
uh, and it was just because the way that the way that they walked this earth was the wealth of their honesty, their love, and their hard work. And yeah, and this year has been, last year even, and this year, these lockdowns and these we forcefully were told to stop, and that was it. All of the little doors that were locked off because there was no time to look at them, we all had at some point the opportunity to unlock all of these doors that are bringing us back to our former selves, you know and I find that a lot of it is finding the joy in the simplest things, like when you were a child. I was on the bus coming home
yeah,
now from my walk, and there was a before my stop, there was a little girl. Two stops before, there was a woman with a beautiful dog that came on. This dog was all, happy and wiggly, and his tail was wiggly, and he was so cute. And then the stop before mine, before I got off, a little girl got on the bus. When she saw the dog, she smiled at the dog like it was her best friend. And I was like, that's the level of joy that we forget when we grow up. Just looking at a dog that is not yours, but because he's a doggo and he's cute, and you are so happy just to see him because you saw a
yeah,
dog, right? It was so cute, and I was like, yeah, And the beautiful thing was that I had the same reaction, but I'm a grown up. And it made me smile because it's like I've had the time to notice that this little girl got on the bus and had the same reaction I had about seeing the dog. So the little girl in me embraced the little girl in
yeah,
her. And we had the time to actually see it together. And it was great because it's like, yes, I in a lot of different ways, I rediscovered the joy of doing so many different things. Even just the fact that my dad asked me to sing a song yesterday, he does not know anything about technology, but he was like, oh, it'd be nice if you could sing me the song that you used to sing when me and mom and me were in the mom and I were in the living room, and we could hear from three doors above, three floors above. And I was like, all right, dad, I'll try. And it was his birthday a couple of days ago, so I sent it. I acted as if I'd forgotten, and then I sent it to him because I'm lucky enough to have a little recording studio at home. I sent it to him on his birthday. The excitement in his voice, those things are priceless.
Definitely. Yeah, there are times when you need to reconnect with your inner child. Yeah.
They are so important. The inner child is so important because it's the essence of who we are, without fear, without condition, without compromise, without all of the trauma that came after, with all of the things that we have gone through. And so finding that inner child again, I think that's what is the key to a happy life, because you remember how easy life was, and you actually understand that life can be as easy again.
Can I just add something to that? Because I think, first of all, I think that was beautiful the way you put that together. The other thing that I have started to do a lot more is becoming so much more present in the day itself. So, like, for example, when you're on the tube and you really just see the people that's around you. And in that particular moment, you're sitting across from like 3 different other people, actually looking at the other person, and you seeing they probably looking either back at you or they're doing something. And that at this particular time, this particular day, both of you guys are sort of living at the same time. You both are going somewhere else, but you guys are there. So like learning to be more present is something
Yes.
I've come to enjoy. And I see that.
Absolutely. Being present in the moment is something that I have struggled with for a very long time without even knowing that I was, because I didn't have the time to actually realize that I was, you know? You said you hit the nail on the head right there, I think that a lot of the people who are struggling with the coronavirus, and the lockdowns, in terms of lockdowns, I mean, not the ones who actually have the virus, the people who are struggling with the lockdown, some of them are struggling because they keep looking towards tomorrow, right? There are things that can be done today. I had to do some work, and then I made some food from scratch, and then I sang a little song, and then I went for a long walk, and then I came home, and now I'm talking to you guys. And these are things that matter, and I think that some people are struggling because their former life of chaos was what was the wall between them, and having to face that maybe they had some internal turmoil that they didn't want to look at.
Yeah.
I have, and it's going to sound like a travesty. I'm sorry if it does. I really loved being in the company of myself for so long. I hadn't been in the company of myself for a really long time. And, I like I'm all right. I hang out with myself and I laugh.
You can survive, yeah?
Yeah. Well,
end of the world comes, Zappy is okay.
Do you know what, Farah? I love being, I'm I'm a people's person, I'm the light of the party, and, and I try to be as everywhere as possible and all the time, and sleep very little, work really hard, and all of that. And I'm gonna change that. I have changed that. I love I love this new me, and
I love it. I'm so glad to hear that. Like it's so empowering, isn't it? Like knowing that,
so good.
You know what, you could switch off and know that you'd be okay. You don't need to be dependent on always being busy or having X, Y, Z. And I think, you know what, it kind of raises an interesting point as well. And I think with the busyness that came before the lockdown, I think a lot of people, even me in some extent as well, I gave purpose to what I was doing. And sometimes purpose can you can get distracted with the meaning, the little day to day, and give it meaning. But in reality, like, you need time to to give purpose to your own life and what's important to you, not just the work itself as well, and what keeps you busy. Like you mentioned as well, like you do this, and that. Before you get home, you do X, Y, Z. Before you know, by the time you go to bed, you got like 20 other things waiting for you the next day. You don't really get time to just think about, hey, am I okay with this?
Trust
Am
me.
I?
There's a friend of mine that says, "Beware the barrenness of a busy mind," and and that's so true, because if you slow down, you'll have to look at yourself at some point and think, all of the things that I've not taken accountability for, I will have to do them now, because now I have time. Now I can. Now I can't blame it on the fact that I'm overworking. Now I can't blame it on the fact that I have to do other things and I've taken too many commitments. Now I can't turn around and say, oh, it's so and so's fault, Because at the end of the day, nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to do. And nobody can actually force you to do anything that you have not agreed to somehow. And this was something that for me this year was incredibly powerful to discover, that, I had given so much permission to external forces and people in general to choose for me, because it was a given that that's how it was supposed to be. That was the most powerful discovery of 2020 for me, because boundaries are a beautiful thing. Accountability and boundaries are a beautiful thing, because they move you to be better for yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
I guess knowing what your limits and your what you're comfortable with, it's it's that aspect of not being able to say yes to everything, but just knowing that what you select and what you can do, you do it to your best of your ability, and you deliver it that way as well. And I think like even going back to this aspect of like also family, I think it can't, like if you take a step back and you're comfortable to be in your own skin and be with yourself, but and also if you're living with your family and friends and so forth, it gives you a chance to listen and watch as well, whereas before you're just constantly working, busy, tired, and so on. Like for me, I would say, like, if anything, I really benefit from is just observing my family, just because I was never, when we were back before the lockdown, 80% of the time I'm outside the house, and like 20% is just home, eat, spend a bit of time with family over the weekend and help out and so on. But majority of the time I'm out and about. So just being able to be locked down and just not having any choice but to work from home just kind of gave me a chance to observe and listen and just watch what's happening with with my loved ones, my family, my mom, my sister, my brother, even my cat as well. And that just gave me an insight to say, what, there's a lot more going on at home, and there are other challenges at home as well. And similar to Samir, like it just builds a relationship with your loved ones. You get to understand them a little bit better, and then if you understand them a little bit better, you understand yourself as well, and you realize, it sounds so corny and maybe even a bit cheesy, but you kind of know how to communicate with your family better as a result of it. You could pick up certain things that you weren't aware of before, and you could be a bit more accommodating and a bit more thoughtful in your communication as well. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And how about you, Samir? Any other thoughts, everyone, as well? Any other highlights of 2020 that helped you get through it?
I guess for me, I'm going to say communication again, but this time with my close friends. Obviously, I told you multiple times that the best way I communicate with my friends is through PlayStation, because I come from a generation where multiplayer and online gaming will really help me socialize and grow with my friends. And so being able to reconnect after working for so long has not only made me has not only been able to make me chill, but also I get to know my friends better. How I can catch up with them a bit more. I think I've mentioned in the previous podcast as well that just really talking to different friends like Khalid or Amando uh, really helps you. It's almost like a therapy session, just having to talk to them online and getting to know some of the things that they're up to as well, and seeing how we can improve as well. There were nights where I would be playing video games with them and just really having a fun time, just cackling. I don't cackle that much because I'm a very quiet person, but
That's good. That's good. And that's like you found an outlet for
Yeah.
yourself, not only to express yourself, but have fun at the same time as well, and relieve the stress and stress and hardship that might come with the
Yeah.
COVID. It's really interesting as well. And actually, do you know what, Samir? Like thinking back as well, like this season 2 of Hidden Voices podcast. Ironically, we end up covering quite a lot of topics around life that are so relevant to COVID-19 and what we went
Yeah.
through. So thinking back, like we talked about spirituality, the purpose and meaning that we find in our spiritual connection, as well as employment, health. What was the other ones? Employment,
Family.
health, spirituality, family, which was really
Spirituality
important.
as well.
Yeah, all of it interlinks, and it's really interesting. Like hindsight, we didn't know this is going to happen, but that's the theme that we were going towards. And just having those episodes, and I can't wait for our listeners as well, our supporters, to hear those episodes that we're going to be releasing soon. Just to hear like how everyone was coping and finding different inspirations in their lives as well. And I guess I'd be really interested to hear, like, from everyone's point of view, what are your hopes for this year, like based on the challenges that we faced last year and the lessons that we learned and how we've moved from that year to now. It'd be really interesting to hear like what your hopes for 2021 are, and what you aspire to achieve this year, personally, professionally, maybe even spiritual.
I'm gonna go first. I am excited about delivering the new projects with you guys, of course. I want us to improve the collective, of course, and I'm not scared about it because we've come from having to put everything online in a rush, and we did it. And then the second time that we did it was, I don't want to say perfect, but it was pretty cool. And so I'm just excited to see, if it's been this cool, how far more can it go? And hopefully we'll be able to do a mixture of online and face-to-face activity, which is ideal, really. I look forward to finally getting in studio to record the album with my band, because we've been put off for about a year because all the studios have closed, and recording drums in your bedroom is tough. So if you want to have real drums on your album, which I do, so I'm looking forward to that. There's also another couple of releases that I've completed whilst in lockdown that should come out next year. I am going to change the course of my working destiny this year. I have just launched the vocal coaching school, basically. So I have a few students at the moment. If you have any students, please send them my way. So I'm going to focus a lot more on the different things that I really want to do, because life is too short, and having a job just because you need the money is not the way forward. So yeah, and obviously going back home to see my dad and spend time with my friends, and I look forward to be able to travel again, and travel in different places, and maybe go to different places with you guys as well for like our little retreats and
We
create.
definitely gotta have that retreat in the summer, hopefully.
Some retreats and holidays as well, but also I look forward to be able to be creative around the things that we love in different environments, even if it means that we have to get tested, I'll do it. Count me in. But yeah, no, all in all, I'm just excited. 2021 music above all things, and more music, and less stress, and a lot of sunshine, hopefully, and a lot of fresh food from the allotment that you guys are gonna come and help with, hopefully.
Oh, we will.
Love it. Love it, definitely.
Can I just say that I'm like really excited for you, really, really, really excited for you. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much, but I'm excited for all of us because I think that we've grown. This journey has been a growth for all of us. I mean, I know you guys on a personal level and a working level, right? And we work together, but we also have very lovely, amazing, incredible conversations like the one that we're just having tonight. And I am just so excited to see all of us happier than when we actually saw each other the last time. If you think about it, if you look at us right now, right? Don't you feel and see that we are happier than we was the last time we saw each other at the office?
True, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and I see all of the people around me and I'm like, you're grumbling so much that you can't go to the pub, but look how happy you look. Look how healthy you look. Look how much money you've saved in takeaway. Look at look at how many time you spent with your kids that you didn't. Look how many things you've seen them achieve that you would have missed otherwise. Look at all the smiles that you gave each other when you were clapping for the NHS on a Thursday night. Look at how many new neighbors have you met on your street. It's like, yeah, and look at our planet. There was someone walking a llama in the park 2 weeks ago. Right.
Yeah,
we had goats running in villages and cows resting in parks, and we had the comeback of species that we thought were lost forever, and the ozone layers are rebuilding, and it's just it's not all as bad as the news want to show it. We've done so much good in this time that we've been locked inside. And that's what I see people sometimes writing some strange things on Facebook, and I just I made an oath to myself, because there were times in the past where I might have laid the truth for them. I've chosen to actually approach it with love and kindness this time, because if really people cannot appreciate the fact that we've had so much time, and the time in itself is a gift, then what's the point of arguing with someone that does not appreciate the fact that there's life and that we are able to live it in this very, very moment? I just appreciate the fact that I'm alive. I am in love with life as it is, because it's not a given.
So true.
That's very true. So should I go next?
Yeah, go ahead, Ridwan.
Okay.
What's your hopes and aspirations for this year?
So in terms of personal life, I feel like I have come very far, in the sense that I become more confident, more stronger. I mean, I even put up a can you call it TikTok? It's a real Instagram this morning, because I was just so much more just happy and everything. So going back to what you're saying, Marianne, yeah, definitely much more happier. And that's not something I would have done last year, thinking back to it. So I'm hoping I continue with that, and I feel like I will definitely be growing stronger in terms of that. In terms of professional, I would say I'm just really excited about how far we are going with Aspire, and to take lead on that. So really, really, really excited for it, because it's quite new for me, but I'm excited for the challenge, and I feel like I'm ready.
You're gonna be great. You're gonna be great.
Thank you. Spiritually, I feel like Ramadan is just around the corner, so I'm feeling even more stronger with that itself. So yeah, passing on to Samir or Farah.
How about professionally? So you mentioned personally, and spiritually. What about professionally? Any aspiration? Yeah.
Just to be, I guess, good at what I wanted to do, which is the project lead. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I feel like I can go far. There's a lot of things in me that I am ready for. So I feel like I have a lot to give. I had a lot to prove to myself, which I feel like I've already proven, but like there's just so much more I can even do better. So just excited to see how far I can take that.
Brilliant. Love it. How about you, Samir?
For me, professionally, what I want in 2021 is just to continue on with the projects that we're doing and continue developing them. So for a long time, I guess since the day that I actually started from UPress, talking about its baby scriberslive.com, um, it's really a platform that I fell in love with, and so being able to have that structure back and resume putting out our articles and putting out illustrations and our Hidden Voices podcast as well is something I'm looking forward to. And also resuming some of the projects that we planned in the previous years. So the Euro 2021 project, which I want to do with some of the writers, is something in the pipeline as well. And in general, some of this stuff that we've also confirmed as well. So Truth on the Roof coming in the summer, as well as the collective concert, I guess, because we don't end the collective without a live performance. And I want to see all these aspiring young
Yeah.
I think we're definitely gonna do a physical concert. I think it's needed.
Yeah, definitely.
as much as I want to do what do you call it? Sorry to cut you off, Samir, but as much as I want to do online video performance, concert is gonna be something that is much more impactful for us.
Screw that. Let's do it live.
We have a great lineup of artists this year, and they've
Mm.
gone above and beyond. Whenever Marianna and I have been hosting the workshops on Mondays, and so I can't wait to see them in person when it's safer outside.
Mate, I'm so excited. I can't even tell you because all these lot are doing amazing. They're getting radio play on BBC.
Yeah,
They're already like releasing music, doing videos and all of that. And it's just like, and the beautiful thing is that they maintained contact with each other constantly.
Yeah.
You know, they cheer each other on and they get excited about each other's projects. And it's like, yeah, we did that,
yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And, you know, thanks to the patience that we all had, you, myself, Raghu, and Vanessa and Chris, and you know, and also them, you know, because they've put themselves to it. You know, even the ones that felt they didn't meet the criteria fully, they stayed and worked, and eventually they got to the same stage. You know.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see that, like the ones that didn't feel like they were adequate enough, or they didn't feel like they belong yet. Now they're like fully gelled on, and just to see that kind of connection and progression for them as well to come through is beautiful. Like especially during a pandemic where we're not being able to see them on a face-to-face, but just do the sessions via Google Meet, Zoom, and just utilizing technology as a method. Beautiful to see, honestly. And I think like I know there's a lot of negativity that came with last year and a lot of challenges that we all faced personally and professionally, but on a positive note, there is some some really great things that come from it as well. And I think everyone's aspirations for a better year this year, and with much more. I think I agree as well. Do you know what? I feel happier this year. It's really weird, but I just feel happier than last year. Do you guys get the sense as well? Like a bit more happier than last year?
Yes, because you've overcome. It's because you've overcome. That's it. It's it's like when you're going up hiking a mountain and you're like, oh my God, this is hard. I'm never going to do it. And then you get to the top, and all of a sudden you're on top and you think, rah, I made it.
Yeah, and it wasn't so hard. What was the big deal? Yeah.
Right.
Like, you can look back and say, you know what? There was a bit of challenge down that hill there, but you know what? I got here. Like,
disclaimer, I'm going to do the Kilimanjaro challenge.
Nice.
I love that. You never know. I might join you. I might overcome.
I think that Farah, come on, fear of heights. Come on, mate. Like we're going up a mountain, and it's gonna be amazing.
Let me rephrase that. Not fear of heights, fear of falling off. That's what it is.
Let's do it. Let's do a UPress trip to Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, sure.
I agree.
That could be a proper challenge. I'll be up for it, actually. Well, I'd have to overcome my fear of falling out, but yeah.
But Farah, out of everybody, I think that you might be the one that is like closest to home there because you're African, right? So
do you know what? I'll tell you
I'm-
something funny, yeah. I thought, because I grew up in a countryside in Africa, yeah. So I know, so I growing up in the countryside, I used to climb little mountains and little hills, go swimming and so on. So I got used to that vegetation. So I was like, yeah, I'm accustomed to the countryside. And then guess what, Mariana, I went a few years back, maybe 3 years ago. I went to Italy to go hiking, and I was like, yeah, I got this, but I'll do a bit of gym. I went there. Yeah, I couldn't handle it, man. I was proper Westerner. I was like out of breath. Like, if you've seen a picture, I'll show you one day the picture. If you see the picture of me before and after, if you see me afterwards, you think I went through like a third world country and came out of it like starving and malnourished. It was like complete transformation. So yeah, we're gonna need a lot of practice with that, or learn the hard way. If I'm gonna do it, we're gonna have to go through the hard way, Mariana.
we have to train because I'm not going up a mountain for climbing for at least 10 days without no training, Farah, because that's not how you get to the top of Kilimanjaro. But I think that it needs to be done. It's either that or we jump out of a plane and we do parachute jumping.
Samir, what do you think?
Parachute, maybe I'll look at you guys when you jump out, yeah.
Then climbing is the right thing to do, and then after the climbing we can all go on a safari, eat some lovely food, and just get a tan, because I am so pale that I look like Casper. My dad, the last time that my dad told me, he said, why are you so gray?
Mhm.
But I love that you guys are so adventurous to try out this extreme life-changing kind of experience as well.
Well,
you know
what can be more amazing than climbing the roof of Africa and reaching the top of that mountain at 6:30 in the morning with the sun rising up and seeing the all of Africa.
Yeah,
That would be so beautiful.
you know what we could do a trial one with Is it Snowdon, the one in Ireland, I think it is, or Dublin.
Wales.
Is it Wales? Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same effect, but I love Wales. I'm not sure if the roof of Wales is the same as the roof of Africa, but we can try.
Just like a warm up to see how we handle it.
Yeah, we definitely should. Obviously, we definitely have to train, but but that's disclaimer, #Kilimanjaro.
It's on our way here. Don't hold us accountable.
I wanted to do it last year. I was gonna do it in 2020, and then COVID came, and I couldn't go to Italy, let alone Kilimanjaro.
Mm.
But so, that could be something that we can work towards. And that's beautiful thing about the COVID is like we've all, as a team, we've become closer and much more. I guess our communications improved even more, and I think that's a big aspect that you mentioned as well, communication, Samir. And I think, this is gonna be exciting year. I'm really optimistic and very hopeful for this year. We went through all the hardship and everything. As you know, as a small organization, our listeners don't know this, but as a small social enterprise, we're constantly facing obstacles and challenges, and biggest one is resources and finance. So last year, we really pushed ourselves to survive, especially as we're not like the front end organization or charity that's dealing with the pandemic, but we provide a unique and in a way a niche service to our beneficiaries, which tends to be 16-year-olds upwards that come from disadvantaged and BME background. But generally, we work with all young people. And last year was so difficult, but this year I'm so optimistic, and I think we survived it last year. We made it through. I think, Mariana, you said the hashtag last year was it? We survived 2020.
Hashtag we survived 2020. No, we survived the pandemic, the 2020 pandemic.
Exactly.
I'm in love with my hashtag game.
Hashtag.
My hashtag game on point.
That's funny. But yeah, the hashtag all the way. Freedom all the way. But yeah, so I think for me, I love it this year. That's what I'm from hearing you guys, I'm really happy, and I'm looking forward to, I think for me, just to maybe in terms of hopes and hopes for this year is really just for our team to get stronger, to become more experts in what we do, to have a bigger impact in especially with the young people that we support and work with, and have fun. And like one thing that most people say to me and say about us is like we're very passionate about our work, and we are very committed to what we say and do. And not many people know this as well. Like since UPRA started up to this point, there's not a single project that we failed or given up on. And I want to keep that track record going forward. And I want, like for me anyway, for my what would make me happy at the end of the year is so us to be fully sustainable, fully our team to be very, very what you call it, ready and trained and able to execute and lead their own projects and come up with their own ideas as well, and have fun and do artistic and powerful projects that really have impactful results as well. And I think for me on a personal level, I just love to do more things that I love doing, like which is training and facilitating, coming up with ideas. Hopefully you can travel a bit more and form new partners. Yeah, and just give it one last example I'll give you guys is like I was talking to one of our filmmakers a couple of days ago, and what made me happy, and it's so little, but it just made so much of a difference in terms of the work that we do. I was telling this young man, I was like, we secured funding. We're going to do a new project soon in the summer, and the reason why we got the funding as well as is because of the work that he did. The first pilot project that we did, he did such good work on that film, and he did it voluntarily, and he did it as a creative outlet for him to express himself, but also just to support what we were doing, and for him to come through and do such a powerful collection of videos and us to secure funding. I was thinking of him, and I told him on the phone, I said, look, we've got this funding, we have you in mind, you're going to be the main film leader, and we're going to get another person to work with you. And he was just really grateful. He was like, Farah, I really thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I had to stop him. I'm like, no, it wasn't just one way. We did it together. You did incredible work that represented what we're doing. We gave you an opportunity, you seized it. And by you creating powerful work, we are able to secure and do it even more and have a bigger impact. So it's a collaborative, even though it might look like we gave the opportunity, but it's a collaborative opportunity there that we created an initiative that has impact. I love that. I remember walking away from that conversation. I was like, what? If we could do more things like that, that gives young people the chance to take ownership and have impact and has long-lasting effect, a legacy in their career and aspirations, that's priceless. There, you can't quantify that kind of experience and that kind of impact that you can have on young people. So I would love to, like, my aspiration is like to have more meaningful impacts like that changes people's lives, and hopefully, God willing, inshallah, this year we'll be able to do even more of that as well. And I know, Marianna, there's a lot of case studies from the collective, from Aspire, from all the things that we did last year, and hopefully we can execute that to be even more impactful this year. And with Hidden Voices being that podcast that gives the voices to community members, hopefully, we'll be looking to explore that in the next season coming up.
Absolutely, Farah. And you know what? One thing that I think that we should all think about doing, and maybe even doing it with some of these young people, is going back to doing things that are simple but very enjoyable, because I think that our work starts now, really. It starts, there's going to be so much trauma in so many of these young people, and a lot of them won't know how to act around each other in the flesh, so I think that doing things that are like, I don't know, doing a barbecue, we can, I'm offering my allotment up, we can do a barbecue at the allotment, or
that's a good idea.
we can there's we have facilities in our office, so we can organize, instead of organize the community dinner and making people bring food, we can all cook together.
We have a kitchen downstairs
exactly
in Paddington Arts that we can collaborate with.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying, doing these things, these normal activities that for us are things that our parents taught us when we were younger, but the sense of community that comes from sharing the space in the kitchen while peeling potatoes and carrots, making the food that it's going to make so many people happy. It creates a sense of fulfillment, I think, within the relationship, that it's just different, and I think that we should do the simpler things in life before we do anything that is the newest things in life, the technology and the, and teaching people how to do this and do that. I think that we should also teach them, it's not about teaching, it's about sharing some moments with them that can make them, that they can remember beyond the fact that we have taught them a skill.
Exactly. And I think, it's so important as well, like to create those opportunities to learn from each other and also experience different cultures and different ways of thinking, because it only just makes you as a better human being and also makes you understand the environment and the situations that you're in as well. And I think, not going into too much deep conversation, but it just brings back a memory. I remember I was talking to someone and someone asked me, like, Farah, you do all these things, yeah, who gives you support as well? Like, who's giving you support with, like, you're supporting all these communities and so forth, but who gives you support? And that was a really good question, but I wasn't thinking about myself when that question was posed, and it brought back a conversation I had with you, Marianna, like last year. And I think Samir and Ridwan as well, you might be able to understand this as well, and I think all of us be able to understand is, like, when it comes to, like, say for example, if you are the eldest brother, sister, or you are a small organization that's leading a community and so forth, a lot of the time you don't have the luxury to think about yourself. You're thinking about the person that you're trying to help. For example, if you're coming from a working class background and you're the eldest sister, for example, you don't have time to think about your responsibility. You're thinking about, like, looking after your family, your siblings and so forth. So you tend to make a lot more sacrifices and not have enough time to think about your own needs as well. And that made me think. I was like, and that links to what you were saying, Mariana, about that when opportunity comes up, most people say yes because opportunities is so rare, especially for young people that are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds. So when opportunities come up, they tend to say yes, 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 yes. And a lot of the time, what they say yes to, it might not be the right opportunity for them. So there's this mentality of, like, as soon as it comes through, say yes. But they're not been trained to analyze it or think about the situation itself before taking that decision. And I think, if we work towards creating environments and opportunities for young people to develop their skills, learn from each other, but most importantly, have those important conversations about certain things that they wouldn't be able to discuss at home, say family pressures, work pressures, cultural, religious pressures as well that comes with it, gender. There's so many aspects that comes into play with identity and who you are. And if we could, with you, Press, if we can continue to do is provide opportunities for young people to explore other ways to do things and other ways to think about their choices and their background and how, how it affects their choices moving forward, that would be such an insightful way of making a big impact as well. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
All right. So I think we're coming up to the end of our episode. Samir, what do you think? It's been a good season 2, isn't it, so far?
Yeah. What do we have for the next season with Kingston University?
Yeah, we've got a surprise season 3 coming up with partnership with Kingston Uni students. So we won't reveal what the content is going to be in the subject, but that's something that we've got coming up soon. And it's going to be really, really interesting. So I can't wait for you to hear it. And then we're working on season 4. That is on the way soon. So you will definitely find out a bit more about that as soon as we release the next episodes. But yeah, Samir, this has probably been our most fun podcast season that we've had since season 1, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. This one was a lot more structured than the previous seasons. So
yeah. And you guys can hear Samir's got his podcast voice going as well, like he's building it up.
Absolutely. Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode.
You should have heard his Batman voice before that. It was like, that was classic.
My Batman voice.
Yeah, was it your Batman voice?
I think Julia edited one of the podcasts and she made me sound like Batman, I think. Yeah.
That's
amazing. I want to hear that. Fish it out. I want to see it.
Definitely. Yeah.
But honestly, it's been a really it's been fun doing the second season of Hidden Voices podcast, and hopefully we can do more of these seasons to come through. And thank you everyone for just being part of that journey and also being very supportive last year as well. Really do appreciate it. And for our listeners and supporters as well, thank you for being there as well with us and supporting us and always believing in what we do. As a small organization, as I said as well, we work really hard, and our results tends to be, have a longevity. So, and we know that we couldn't achieve what we achieved if it wasn't for all of our supporters, volunteers, and everyone that's believed in us as well. So we do appreciate it. Thank you for always being there. Always, we're here. If you can be of help, if you want us to work together, you got a young person that you want to refer, it could be a brother, sister, neighbor. Our doors are always open. So we always have different types of projects that helps young people to develop their skills. Do get in touch. Let us know. Just drop us an email. Say, hey, do you have any opportunities coming up? And we can go from there. And in terms of the Hidden Voices podcast, if you love, we're always looking for partners, sponsors, collaborators. So, if you want to sponsor an episode, or you want to sponsor young people that we work with, or if you're just interested in just supporting what we do, get in touch. It might be even just you want to join in one of the episodes and share your own personal experience. Feel free to drop us a line. Samir, our host, I can tell you a bit more about that as well. But yeah, Samir, any things I've left out for our audience?
Well, I guess not. I think we're gonna try and get these episodes onto Spotify soon. So we're just looking at different ways we can get into that. But so far we only have them in SoundCloud and YouTube, and of course scribershive.com. So yeah, keep in tune. Thank you so much for joining in this second season of Hidden Voices, and we'll see you soon.